I'd actually quite happily, and I don't know why I haven't done it, is let people hit me with a whip on TV. And I keep saying it, there is so many people in the world that would love to be living like racehorses.
Yeah.
For the horse, the size, the stature of him, I'd love to see him jump a fence. Yeah. But yeah, if I owned him, for me, the right thing to do is keep him as hurdles.
Hello and welcome to Inside Track, the debate brought to you by William Hill, a brand new weekly YouTube show where we bring together 4 personalities from the world of racing to discuss and debate plenty of big topics in the sport. And I'm delighted that I'm being joined by Charlie Austin, 2-time Gold Cup winner and William Hill ambassador, Sir AP McCoy. I keep unknighting you. I apologise for that.
Disgraceful, carry on.
I will give it back to you, Sir AP
and you
McCoy.
didn't courtesy.
No, I didn't. I didn't quite, though. No. But, of course, I am in the presence of another great, where we... Great to have you all with me. Now, I'm going to set you the task because, of course, New Year is upon us. Now, we're going to be making predictions for 2024. So I have 5 predictions for you. I want you to rank them in the order of most likely to least likely to happen. So, the first one, Frankie Dettori rides a Royal Ascot winner. Galopin retains the Gold Cup. Constitution Hill jumps a fence. Whip rules to change, or Sheen Murphy rides a Cheltenham Festival winner. So, whiteboards at the ready. Take it away with your 2024 predictions, please. Now, whilst the lads are just putting the finishing touches to their list, do remember to subscribe to William Hill Racing's YouTube channel and also hit the bell notification so you never miss an episode. Right, there's a bit of conferring going on over there. I hope the pair of you two are not copying each other's notes.
I promise you, if you see what I've read, you won't be copying mine.
Don't get me wrong, I had a look.
Do you want me to have a reveal what I've got in mine?
3, 2, 1.
No, look, that's I don't know what he's up to.
Right. I think the first person who should have to explain themselves is you, AP. Why have you got 3 question marks?
Because Constitution isn't going to jump a fence, for a start. Oisin, Galopin, Deschamps, I'm not sure about winning another Gold Cup. It's a very, very hard thing to do. I know that Album Photo has won 2 Gold Cups or whatever, but Album Photo, I don't think it is. One of the Gold Cups he won was definitely not run at as frantic a pace as what the one that Galopin Deschamps won. People say, does the Gold Cup leave a lasting effect on ours? Gold Cup doesn't leave a lasting effect on ours. It's the race after the Gold Cup that leaves a lasting effect on ours.
Oh, really? So you think it was the puncher's son?
I mean, I keep going on about stats, but stats tell you that you go back to Imperial Call, you go back to as far back as Imperial Call, Kicking King, Don Cossack. I think Cotto went to Punchestown, might have, and it took him. He didn't get over his trip to Punchestown. I think Demon went as well. Loads of brilliant horses have won the Cheltenham Gold Cup, and lots of them have won in Punchestown. King, Imperial Call, Don Cossack, they all won Punchestown. You never saw them again.
No,
you know, so it's not.
After.
It's not the Gold Cup is the most physically demanding race because it is the best. It's the best horses, but it's the effect that it has when they run because I presume that they're trained. Every horse should be trained to the limit when he's winning every race. But for the Gold Cup, and then when they go to Punchestown, it has an effect on them, and sometimes they don't ever get over it.
You know, the interesting part is, I don't know if you know this, but I work for Willie Mullins then at every Cheltenham festival. And to see Willie Mullins' brain post the Gold Cup about Galopin Deschamps, I've never seen this from any other trainer. He wanted the horse scoped straight away down at the vets post the Gold Cup. I don't know what other trainer would be thinking after winning the biggest race of them all to scope the horse to see how much of a toll it took on them, to see if he would run him again then on his next start. And obviously he did, and it didn't quite work out for him. But that might just leave a lasting effect.
Who are we to question Willie Mullins? You know, he's trained 94 Cheltenham Festival winners. I mean, imagine what have I any got, and I'm not saying, but and they are racehorses and they are geldings and you want to see them racing. So imagine if someone said to you last year after the Cheltenham Gold Cup, we're going to run him in the Irish Grand National, he's going to have 12-4 or something like that. Or we're going to run him in the Whitbread on Sandown. Never mind Punchestown. Yeah. So you can't have it every way.
Where was he on your list?
Galopin Deschamps, he wasn't even on it because I didn't.
Well, he was one of the question marks. We spent a long time on a question mark.
Sorry, that's why I was saying. But anyway, that's my opinion on whether Galopin Deschamps wins another Cheltenham Gold Cup. It's Album Photo did it twice and Best Mate did it 3 times. There's been a lot of horses every bit as good as Galopin Deschamps that won Gold Cups, and you think, oh yeah, he'll win again.
Charlie, you're more confident. You've got him as 2.
Yeah. He's got more chance of winning the Gold Cup than Constitution. Jumping the fence.
This is why we brought you, Charlie.
Yes, I like your thinking. We wanted to this.
He's got Listen, he can, but it's going to be a tough.
He's going to have one race probably.
Yeah, one race to do it, and
the
there's
bumper.
been other jumps.
I mean, he might.
Not even a jump race, it's a flat race.
Yeah, the whip, but I'll leave that to the two ex-jockeys for that bit. But so that's why I have it.
And you think Frankie's
Frankie's a cert to ride at Royal Ascot and ride to win. I think so. I think we can all.
Have we
agree
all
on
got
that
Frankie
one.
as number one then?
Yeah.
But you've got him as number one.
Yeah.
I mean, we're pretty
Yeah.
much expecting him to come back, aren't we, for Royal Ascot this year? And then to ride a winner, you pretty confident on
Rider winner,
Big
probably.
show and everything.
Yeah, have a bit. Yeah, he'd probably retire again. The whole charade. He loves all that, doesn't he, old Frankie?
Do you know what? I don't blame him.
No, absolutely. Milk it.
He probably just got it a bit wrong in the new year. He had a bad sort of, I suppose things weren't as rosy the year before with the teams that he was riding for, and he thought maybe new year this would be my last year, and then he had a great year. So why wouldn't he? Like, he's long time retired, Charlie. You'd be.
Charlie's not quite there yet. Thanks for
No,
putting on.
I'm telling you, because Charlie's going to play 5-a-side with me on Monday night.
Monday nights, yeah.
But not for a couple of years yet.
Charlie, we talk about those professional athletes and the retirement angle. And of course, Frankie's had this unbelievable final season. And lots of people said it's probably because the pressure's come off of him because he knew he was retiring. Just how much factor does pressure come into it rather than just, I don't know, playing with freedom?
The most difficult bit is, the only way I can describe that as, I guess, as a footballer, is going as a centre forward scoring 20, 25 goals in his so-say last season, and then
Thinking,
I don't want to.
I'm not doing that next year.
I don't. Yeah, actually, do you know what? Scrap that. I'm coming back. But then if he goes next year and it doesn't be successful as much as he did this year, maybe that's in the decision why he's going to.
You still
America.
enjoy playing football?
Yeah, it's having the enjoyment. I still enjoy playing football.
Yeah.
Would you go into management, Charlie?
I think you need a lot of luck for that. But there's so many managers out there without a job at the moment that's already there. So for a chairman to take a chance or a risk on giving someone their first job, and then nowadays managers don't get longer than 3-4 months. If they're not doing the job, they're out. It's like a conveyor
I couldn't
belt.
think of anything worse than training horses, could you?
I think that I wouldn't mind actually doing it. I know I never did think about doing it, but I think, look, if you're training horse, if I was training horse, I look at Ballydoyle and look at Aidan O'Brien, I'm thinking, and at the end you think, what's the point?
We all know how to get horse fit and get a horse ready. I think it's all the other stuff.
But in
that
terms
comes
of
with it.
in terms of that, you know, that's the levels that you're talking about. And funny enough, I actually would much be interested in training flat horse than with jumpers. But if you look at Ballydoyle and you look at Aidan O'Brien, you think, people will say, oh, he's got Ballydoyle and he's got Coolmore and he's got the best stallions and he's got the best facilities and all that. If you put him in a tin shed in Devon, he'd still train racehorses better than anyone else. You know, so but you're trying to compete with someone who's like 54 years of age that's won more Royal Ascot, going to win more races than anyone. He's going to win more Breeders' Cup winners than the people in America. So basically, what's the point being a trainer? No, you're right, Matt. It's a very silly idea.
For me, no.
I rode my fastest ever 100th winner in my last year riding, ever, 21st of August. You know, I mean, like, and I actually came home that night thinking, what have I been doing for the last 20 years?
So can you kind of relate to Frankie in that sense?
Oh yeah. And
that final season.
And I don't. I think if you're asking Frankie now, the one thing he done wrong was maybe announce it when he did. You know what I mean? But he thought he was doing the right thing, and I get that there's a point. When I was retiring, you know, I did speak to a few people who I'm really close to, and that I really respect. And I told them, you know, I told, for instance, JP was the only person I told at the beginning of the year. I was at the Punchestown Festival, I was staying with him during that night, and I said to him when I went home that evening, I said, look, I told him one evening that the two of us were having dinner, I said, this is going to be my last year riding. And he basically had said to me, oh, well, you know, don't be making decisions like that yet, and you never know what's going to happen. And I told him the reasons why, and he went, all right. And then when I was getting to close to riding my 200th winner, I was chatting to just Dave Roberts and whatever, and I was kind of thinking, do I just go to Sandown the last day of the season and say I'm retiring and that's it, just walk away, you know? And then I thought, you know, maybe that if it happens with a month or 6 weeks to go, then because there's people, I went to a lot of places like Sedgefield and Catterick and that I all the smaller tracks up north, and I even went after and it wasn't a parade, it was just, you know what, it was that those places I went for 20 years, and I actually wanted to go, and I wanted to go for the last time and think, yeah, there you go, because there was people that came out to, and I kind of thought it was good for me as much. Actually, it was good for me more than anything else, because it meant it gave me a bit of a mental time to get. You never get used to it.
Yeah.
But I don't think if I won 20 Scottish Championship, I would have probably ridden a bit longer. I think
Really, that would
Yeah,
have.
I loved riding. But I would never ever.
Yeah, but you'd have won 21, 22, 23, mate.
Who knows? But
No,
but anyway, I it was the right thing to do, and I don't regret doing what I did. I know it was the right thing to do to walk away at the right time, because it's great if you love it. Like, why wouldn't you do it? And I can see why Frankie's riding as good as ever. So why wouldn't he do it? The only little thing he got wrong was, maybe announcing it when he did.
The whole environment. Well, I mean, we had good times. And jolly tell you in the changing rooms.
Yeah, so
Ever if anyone sort of come and take your boots whenever you're thought you were finished with them or anything like that, think, oh, they're nice boots, I'll have them.
no,
I used to get new gloves and stuff in my bag, and thinking I'd come out the next day, I'd have more them for about 2 weeks, or goggles or whatever, and I'd be gone. I'd see a different jockey going out wearing them.
but he used
See another jockey going out wearing them. You know what I mean? It'd be him with my gloves on.
No, now these-
The only problem with that was Charlie. I was a size 6, he was a size 9. So I had to nick the gloves to fill in the front of the boots.
So yeah, that's what my speciality was.
Was it?
But the rest of these, yeah, I actually really admire Oisin Murphy. He's got himself back, riding as good as ever. Fair play to him, and he's obviously got plenty of bottle. He's doing plenty of show jump and all that, and he could win a champion bumper. I'm not sure I'd ride over hurdles, but he could win a champion hurdle. I actually, believe it or not, controversially, I think the whip rule is actually quite good.
Yeah. Oh, controversially, yes. Well, very controversially.
Well, not so much controversy. The whip rule was it's about being talked about. And as long as you have a rule where it's somewhere where it doesn't get talked about, the Joe public do not give one hoot about. They turn up on the big days whenever a Grand National, whatever, and they think, oh, look at us, we're so worried about this and that and the other. You don't see them in Newton Abbott or in Yarmouth or somewhere else on a Tuesday. You know what I mean? When they're not getting any publicity.
Yeah.
So I actually think that there is a place for it. There is a place for it because, and I think that there's a place for it whilst it's monitored properly. And I do think it's in a good place now. And if they let it go on, if they didn't do something like that, there was a chance that they could end up with there's races with no whips one day. And
The decision would be taken out of their hands.
I think the competitiveness of it is wrong. It's like you're going into training and your coach sort of not giving out to you or not telling you to run a bit quicker. Like, I'm not saying that that the whip is that, but it's there for encouragement. It's a bit like you're a person, a bit like you're a trainer, you're a coach making you do it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And a lot of people say, oh, that, and I'd actually quite happily, I don't know why I haven't done it, is let people hit me with a whip on TV.
It's just education. So Aintree this year, Cheltenham, I was in the racing welfare and we had a Pro Cush whip and people were coming up and I handed them the whip.
Yeah.
And straight away, the first thing they done, they hit the hand. So I said, so my first question was to them, why have you hit your hand? Well, it's skin. I said, yeah, but you're hitting your skin. It's not the same as a horse's skin. That's why it's called a coat. So if you sort of turn that gentleman around there, hit him on the coat, you've got... So once you explain the whole physics about it, some people can change.
And society is very different, Kate. Like I during the Jockey Club or Cheltenham, whatever, brought a load of kids, inner city kids from Manchester and London to Cheltenham a while back, and they brought them to John Joe's in the morning. A couple of these kids had never seen horses or whatever. I think one of them, I think there was a cat ran across the yard and one of them asked what it was. Do you know what I mean? So, and the difference, not because I'm Irish but the difference between Ireland and England is there's 6 or 7 million people, or however many live in Ireland. 5 million live in the country. You know what I mean? They're country people. The other 1 million live in the city. 65 million people live here. 5 million live in the country, whatever. 70, you know what I mean? So, and you try to explain to people about the life of a horse and how they get looked after and all that, and you're trying to justify it to people that, not that they don't have any interest in it, they probably don't have any interest in learning about it, but, and I keep saying it, there is so many people in the world that would love to be living like racehorses.
Yeah, exactly.
You walk down the street in London here, or in any city in the world, or in this country, whatever, towns or cities, and you look at people on the street, you're thinking, like, what would you give to be a racehorse? Look, living a life of luxury and swimming pools and physios and the whole lot. And things happen, but that. So
you've got the whip is okay, though. So you've actually got it in number 2, but probably not likely to change. You've also got it as
perfect,
number 2.
As long as, and the lads respect it now. And I don't know if you'll ever hear about it
But that's only our
not sure
opinion.
you'll ever hear about it again.
That's only our opinion. I guarantee it's high up there to be brought up again.
But as long as the only way it'll ever get brought up again is it's written about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the only way it'll get written about is during the Grand National or the Gold Cup or the Derby or something like that.
Big races.
And as long as the rule is where it cannot be written about, then it'll never be talked about and it'll be fine.
Now, one thing we haven't really talked about, Constitution Hill jumping a fence. Charlie, where did you have this in your list? You had this
5.
You had this as 5. Do you not think there's any chance at all that we're going to see him over a larger obstacle? Even if he goes and wins the champion hurdle, and then if he goes to Aintree again and goes and wins a 2 mile 4 contest there, or goes to Punchestown, do you not think there's any possibility they'd be tempted just to try it? His own is very enterprising.
Only if he gets beat.
Yeah.
Only if he gets beat, which we don't think is going to happen anyway.
You never know.
Ooh. Who's going to beat him?
Well, I don't know, but I don't.
Could beat himself.
He has the potential to be a great horse.
Yeah, the potential. He's not yet, though, in your mind. Not yet.
Not yet.
What's he got to prove?
Well, I think he's got to come back year in, year out, and what Easterbrook done. So that makes him great. I think he will be, personally, but that's why I think he'll stay over hurdles.
Do you mind that? Because we've had a lot of debate at the start of the season when, of course, his own Michael Buckley was saying, well, we might send him over
It's
a
irrelevant
fence.
if I mind it or not. Really, it doesn't,
Again, Matty, that's why you're here.
It
Your
doesn't
opinion
concern
counts.
me. Yeah, I mean, if I owned him,
What would you do with him if
I'd
you
stay
owned
over
him?
hurdles.
Yeah, I think that's what
yeah.
most people would do. If you were in that position, you would do, wouldn't you? But from a fan perspective, were you slightly gutted when you heard that they were going to take the same route again than this season over hurdles?
For the horse, the size, the stature of him, I'd love to see him jump a fence.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I owned him, for me, the right thing to do was keep him over hurdles.
Yeah, I think that many people would say that if they had any involvement with the horse, they would make the same approach. Now, I feel mean that I've got Oisin Murphy down at the bottom. I feel that the champion
Well, I've got a
bumper...
thing about Oisin, to be honest. All
Yes.
this flat jockeys coming over jumping, that's fine. Do it. It's all a bit of a show. But many years ago, when the boot was on the other foot, they do a flat jockeys jump race at Lingfield, and I happened to have a flat licence at the time. And so I was riding in it on the favourite, and all them little cheese nibblers started kicking off.
You obviously won, did you?
No, they wouldn't let me ride in it.
They wouldn't let you ride in it.
No, they kicked off. Them little flat jockeys started chirping up. No, he can't ride in it. So I missed out on a winner.
Fair play to him for riding it. Look, like Richard Hughes won an Irish champion hurdle. Jamie Spencer rode a bit.
Christophe Soumillon, he won a French champion hurdle as
Christophe
well.
Soumillon won a French champion hurdle only like 6 or 7 years ago. So yeah, fair play to him for
I met Richard Hughes one day. He rode over hurdles at Ascot, and I think it was one of the first times he'd met me. So of course after the race, I've just absolutely all them flat jockeys. They got these like flash wash bags, all the flash aftershave. So I've absolutely right through that joke. Deodorant aftershave. So then we're down at the start, and like everyone like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And all that. So there's me at the start. I said, right. I said, let's just make this a little bit interesting, lads. Get them round. There's only 5 of us. We have a little bit of fun. I said, we're going to play a game going round. Guess the musical. So I was singing musicals on the way round. And everyone else, Richard Hughes is looking at me going, who is this idiot?
Did he get any right, though? Did he get any of
Yeah, he got the first one right. Mary Poppins.
Mary, of
Spoonful
course,
of
a
sugar.
classic. A classic, then. The real insight to what goes on in a jump race in comparison to flat. That was fairly eye-opening for him, I'd say, anyway. Right, in terms of our list, though, I think we're all pretty confident that Frankie Dettori is the most likely one to ride a Royal Ascot winner. Then we've got a bit of debate, but I think I'm going to go with your guys' consensus about the whip. Might change, but from what we've all gathered there, we're all pretty happy with it. AP hasn't got a clue about the rest of them, so...
No, I think Oisin, like fair play to him. Like I said,
Yeah.
I think he could, he'd probably be more likely riding the bump than he is a hurdle race, but he looks like he's going to ride over hurdles.
And I'll leave Constitution Hill then for the final say for Charlie and Batch there for him to not jump a fence this season. So, right, they are our predictions then for 2024. Have we got it right, though? Do let us know in the comments section below what you think will happen in 2024. But a big thank you to the lads yet again for all of their hard work on this episode. This has been Inside Track, the debate, brought to you by William Hill. Well, thank you for watching Inside Track, the debate brought to you by William Hill. Now, of course, we have plenty more content coming your way, but if you would like to look back at our previous episode where we managed to decide our top 5 holiday heroes, please click the link. 18+, please be gamble aware.